Eugene coming back at you with some more introduction to backpacking, and this is the clothing part of the video. So I'm going to talk about just kind of the bare minimum clothing you got to bring with you, and then some cool things that you could have that you might already have that would be good to bring with you. And at the end of the video, of course, you can go back to look at just the basic gear that you must have. Click on a video right in this general area and check that out. And then also there will be a link to food. So what food to bring, different options. Click on the link at the end of this video for that. So I'm going to start top down and just go through clothing that you might need to bring, or I would recommend. I would say bring a hat. Now there's a couple options for hats. You can either have a cap like this. This is kind of cool if it's sunny or hot, but if it's really cold, I usually don't have one of these with me. I'll usually bring one of these beanie kind of hats. Try to keep it wool or something polyester that's not going to get wet, nothing cotton. General rule for outdoors is minimize cotton. You either want to have wool or you want to have nylon clothing for a lot of reasons. Cotton just doesn't dry really well, it stays cold. Nylon, it gets wet, but it dries really fast. Wool gets wet and it stays warm even if it's wet. Now the more advanced options for materials for clothing is something waterproof like Gore-Tex or something like that that's just not going to get wet, but that's expensive. I'm not going to jump too much into that here. So anyway, you want the hat, okay? Different options for that. The next thing you're going to want is probably something to protect your eyes. And I would say a good pair of shades, any kind of shades, they don't have to be good. Something that'll just give you a little protection on your eyeballs. That's good to have. You want to maybe, if it's going to be a really hot sunny day, you want to bring some sunblock because you will get burnt if you're out in the sun for the whole day. Then you will want to have a shirt. So there are so many different options for shirts, but I'd say, for example, something like the one you could have a long sleeve button-up type of shirt like I'm wearing now. This is nylon. That's good to have, but this can get hot. And you usually want a layer. So I usually start with having a layer of, a shirt just that I can, this is a polyester nylon shirt that you can throw on. And then I might put that on and then maybe put another layer on if it's cold, like some kind of long sleeve thing like this, maybe with a zipper. Okay, so this will something that I'd put on over a shirt, or maybe all on its own if it's colder. But you want a good layer that'll be short sleeve or long sleeve depending on the weather. And you got to have at least a shirt that's going to be your base layer always. Okay. So that's your shirt. For your pants, you're gonna want to basically have a nylon or polyester pants. This that I have here, they're kind of stretchable and they let you, when you're walking around, they don't get in the way. They're just really comfortable. And the nylon polyester stuff, it just dries out really quick, and that's nice because if you sweat or there's a little drizzle of rain, they'll dry out pretty quick. So that's good to have. The next thing, you might want to bring a couple pair of underwear just because one that you have on, another one if you're going to go for multiple days, you're going to want to have that. Bring your watch, of course, if you can. Bring a compass if you can. Those types of things, like kind of gear, kind of clothing, but they can, I have a watch with a compass on it. So it all depends on what you have available to you. The other thing is socks. Absolutely get socks that are wool. Okay, so these are some wool socks here. The thing about wool socks is they kind of have some padding in them, and then when you put those boots on, the socks and the boots work together really well. And you got to have the wool socks. They whip the moisture away from your feet. They give you the padding. They dry. They don't dry fast, but they stay warm no matter what happens, even if they get cold. Okay, so that's a good thing to have. The other thing about wool socks is they don't get smelly as quick, so you can wear wool socks for several days, and they will stay actually pretty decent depending on how much you sweat, and you can rinse them out always. So I'd say bring at least two pairs of socks if you're going out there. The next thing is rain protection. So you got to think about this. If there's going to be rain, you're going to want to have a jacket. So there's a couple options. I mean, you can have something really simple. This is not necessarily backpacking gear, but this is something that will at least repel water. It's cheaper. You can put it on and stay relatively dry. The other thing would be a cover for your pack if you can. poncho, you know, you can buy a $1 poncho. You might not need it, but if you do, it's something you can throw over your body and your pack to keep you dry if like starts to really rain. Or you can have a rain jacket, an actual waterproof rain jacket. You can get an actual, you know, full-on waterproof rain jacket. You can watch a review of this by clicking the link here. There's a couple options. This is really, you know, a little bit more expensive. You can get something a little bit cheaper, like one of these guys here. There's just different types, and they're all different prices. So as long as it's waterproof, you know, it'll do the trick. The other thing I would say is you want to bring one layer that you can put on over your shirt and even under a rain jacket if it starts to get really cold. And I've used this many times. The one that works really well if it's going to get really cold, it's a down jacket. This is really light, really warm, and it compresses down. People call it a puffer jacket, whatever, but basically it has goose feathers in it. The other option is just to bring a fleece like this. And this is something I can put on over a shirt, and I can put a rain jacket over it if I need to, if you're, you know, sitting in camp. Usually though, when you start to walk, you're going to start to produce heat, and you're not going to need that many layers to keep you warm. So that's more for camp. I think that hits all the clothing essentials that you need to have. So make sure you have a good shirt, a good pants, a pair of pants, good socks, wool socks, some kind of jacket to keep you from the rain if it comes, a hat. You can also sleep in the hat, and that's a very, very good way to protect heat, to keep heat in your body. And we talked about boots already in the gear video, by the way, so you can go back to that to see that. I think that covers that, but if you have any questions about gear in terms of clothing, leave comments below and I'll try to answer those. And subscribe to my channel. And by the way, thank you for all you guys who've been watching my videos and subscribing. I have over 7,000 subscribers now, and I never thought that would get so high, so that's great. See you out there, and praise God.